Alrighty. We are rocking and rolling. The button has been pressed and we are going. It is not a dress rehearsal. It is not a test. This one's going down and we're not editing Jack.
Word up. Let's do it. Let's do
I,
it, man.
I am joined by my brother from another mother,
Yes,
Anthony
sir.
Morales, aka what I know back in the day as Little Mo. That was a whole story we'll get into. Everybody today knows me as DP. He knows me as just P. What's going on, my brother? I ain't
Not
talked to you in a
much,
hot
brother.
minute, but I've seen you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's good to see you, man. Number one, I want to say thank you. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for letting me be here with you, man. And I really appreciate you, bro. You always been a good brother from day one, man. From the day we followed each other to Latham to check in for recruiting from that day forward, man. Bro, yo, I don't know what was it. I saw you. Forgive me, bro. I'm going there, but I
Not,
saw you or somewhere. I asked you something, and I don't know
yeah,
how, but we ended up following each other all the way to Latham to check in for recruiting.
yep. So me and Anthony go back, wow, to
2005.
2005
Yes, sir. Yes,
is
sir.
when we started recruiting duty. So we were both recruiters in the Army National Guard in New York, AGR, Active Guard Reserve, and when we went to go check in, Latham being headquarters, where we had to go and process and do all that stuff, and I forget how it was, but I remember distinctively. We bump into each other to the parking lot. I'm think, so here's a little backstory, right? We're getting our camera set up this morning, and I'm like, hey, so we'll pop up your stuff, we'll share your things, and Anthony's like, hold on there, let me, I
Nah,
gotta
bro.
to pull up.
I did on my phone. I did on my phone.
I'm
Nah,
like,
my
hey,
phone. I was nervous, bro. I was nervous.
I said, let's go ahead and do the thing. He's like, I'm taking a note real quick. Pulls up the notepad. So okay, he's upgraded. He's not pen and paper. Apparently, I got it. As you can see me pull it up that quickly. It's not a
Crazy,
prop.
bro. Stop, man.
so
Stop.
so he asked me the question, and basically, we checked in together. We ended up going to recruiting school together at the same time,
Yes, sir.
and then we were kind of, some folks wouldn't relate it to the trail, but it sure feels like the trail, right? You say the trail, you talking drill sergeant school,
Yeah.
but look, you're on recruiting duty. You wanted another whole other trail. You off the beaten path.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Uh, so you was in the Bronx, I was in Queens, and we served and did an interesting job in New York City, recruiting in New York City. Boy,
Whole different monster, bro. Whole different monster.
they
It
should
ain't. It
they
ain't
should have
regular.
they should have a patch just for that.
Get one of those. What do you call it? A scroll or something, bro? With body snatching, with pamphlets.
Wait a
Remember
second,
the old?
pamphlets. Now, so we come from a school of no Facebook. Facebook was not a thing. MySpace was kind of kicking. Nobody was doing anything. It was old
Oh my
school.
God.
If your numbers weren't there, guess what you was doing on a Saturday? You was on that table at that mall. You had the daggone little apron, a little cloth apron for the table. You got your
Remember
flyers
that?
set up. You was putting things on windshield wipers. You was doing the cold calls. If
Yo,
you,
you get goosebumps thinking of that, bro. The long hours, it was crazy. Maps at Old Dark 30.
Matter of
It was
fact, that's a
crazy.
new matter of fact. So let's. It's funny. I was going to say that. So this is what I like about having these conversations. So we're here, with another edition of Sound Off, and basically, the theme being obviously we're loyalty, duty, respect, and we'll get into what that means here. But this is almost a hybrid show because literally we were going to do this live, but then it is Oh Dark 30. Depending on where in the world you are right now, it's Oh Dark 30. Someone right now in California is just like, what? Why is my computer pinging?
That's right.
So,
That's right.
welcome to an edition of Sound Off, aka Oh Dark 30, because
That's right.
we rolled up in here with rollers on, bata on, chancletas, and the whole nine.
Like this, trying to get the, oh my God, trying to get the bags up, bro, was crazy. Yeah, the cafe, the coffee. Early morning coffee, bro.
This is like one of those late night thing. Ain't nothing but water in there, but it's just funny because I was like, because you know what, I had so we both were joking around. So he got the smart water also. If you know us though, ain't nothing really smart about us. So this is
Nope.
false advertisement. So I thought it'd
I'm not
help,
gonna
but
lie, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I refill it with the tap water, bro. I keep the bottle. That's what it is, bro. Yo, I keep it. I refill it. I go there, refill it, put it in the fridge. What can you do, bro?
Your pH balance has gone in the other direction.
Off.
You are, oh, you know what?
Completely off, bro. Completely off.
So
Forget it.
I did it. I didn't. So one day I had one of these things, and I was just like, let me put it in the cup so I look a little bit more kind of like whatever. But for like an episode or two, I had a red cup, and I'm like, oh man, somebody's probably thinking I wonder what's in that cup. So I was like, you know what? Let me switch it up like the late night host, because at this point now it's like, oh, you got a little coffee. It's water, but it looks more professional. Someone's like. Right. Yeah, coffee with something else. Like, look, someone's always gonna do something. Ain't nothing here but raw. Look, ain't nothing here but raw motivation coupled with a little anxiety and depression.
Oh my God! Talk about it, bro. Talk about it.
So we were on recruiting duty, and but it was an interesting time. Like you said, old dark dirty, up early, doing a work that's completely different, right? Anybody that comes from active duty or served or done anything, recruiting duty is a whole different beast. You're literally operating outside green or whatever your branch of service is, because you're interacting with civilians all day. There's not really much military going on. There's no formations, no PT. You are a rogue element. You know what I mean? Most of us would be in civies to go out there and do stuff. And it's kind of like, I could be on recruiting duty right now and be like, is that even authorized? I am doing the job. If the numbers are coming, look, grow that sucker as long as you want.
That's right. That's right. That's
right. So tell me one of the funniest things that happened to you on recruiting duty.
Bro, Lord have mercy. Now you got me thinking. I mean, from recruiting school, we had great times. In recruiting school, we had some fun times, joking, going through all that stuff. I can't say the funniest.
For the record, I'll tell you this. For the record, the funniest time was with Big Mo in them PT formations and run.
Wait, hold on. Go ahead. Elaborate. Now I want to hear. Go.
Look, so it was Anthony, and then we had Ray with us up in there too. So he was also Morales. So we had Big Mo and Little Mo. So that's where that whole Mo came from, because it was two of them, and we all came from the same spot. But now Big Mo, you out there, you watching this. I hope we're gonna tag you. You gonna see it. Shout out to you, my brother. Miss you, man. I've seen. It's funny how social media has brought us back together, but yeah. But Big Mo, Big Mo's old school Puerto Rican. You know what I mean? If you take about the uniform, he might have the short sleeve rolled up with little, with the little pack of cigarettes right there on the top.
That's what I was gonna say, pack of cigarettes.
Okay, like he's the.
Bro, you got to see him now. Oh, bro, you got to see him now. Bro. He got long, gray, curly head, long, bro.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen him.
I did see it pulled back. Yeah. I got the whole. I was like, it ain't surprising me. You are completely out of regulation right now.
Hold on. And when he used to give out, I love him, bro. He knows it. When he used to give out the business card, that's how he did it, bro. Hold on. Here you go, take one. That was Mo.
Roll up in there like, hey, look here, young blood. Go ahead, hold that real quick. Like,
yo, remember, bro? We used to have flip phones. And he used to snap it shut. He used to make sure he snapped it shut, bro. Oh, hilarious. That's how it was.
It's the reverse of a switchblade. You bring it back in. You got to make a phone call, he'd snap it back out, because he had to make sure that you saw that he was doing the daggone thing.
Yes, sir. You're gonna love this. I love it.
He had a style. He has a style to him, and that's natural to who he was. And I think the amazing thing about being on recruiting duty was, initially, right, we all had jitters. We don't know what we're doing, but everybody eventually settles into who they are. Like, literally, Mo is the way he is. We talked to Z. Getting Z on one of these, boy, if y'all want to talk about something, get the three of us on one of these suckers.
Yes, sir.
Z, Zipporah Baez, she's over at NGB right now doing some amazing things. If you see her, you follow her on social media with Fitness Genie on Instagram. It's interesting because people see that. So the funny thing to me about social media is people see what some want to portray as who they are. What you see here is what you get. Ain't nothing fancy about none of this stuff at all. You know what I mean? Mo hit me up. He's like, hey, my camera, I got it hooked up. I was like, look, we don't need HD and we don't need to zoom in. The way we're set up.
Well, help me out here, bro. Help me out here.
Matter of fact, man, computer.
Something clear.
Focus away from me. Don't look at me. See that?
Me? Yeah, one day, bro. But nah, listen. You said something to me the other day that made a lot of sense. It's not about the picture. It's about the message. and that hit me, but like hit me in the face. I've been thinking about it since you said it. So, not overthinking it, but it's not about the visual. It's about that message that you send and that everyone else who's trying to do the same thing tries to send. Go ahead, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, no, and I think that's really what this is about. But to close out on Mo,
Oh,
one of the funniest things was, we talked about the card. You got the toothbrush, you got the whole swag. That uniform was pristine, crisp.
woo.
But boy, those PT formations, man, my chest, I can't breathe.
Yo, I think we struggled. I mean, not all, but I mean, you were running. You was in it. You was getting into that thing.
Man,
Bro, I
look,
hated running, and I know Mo hated running too.
yeah, but now here's the thing about it is, so rewind. So obviously now at times, and I don't mean this to be in a self-deprecating way, but to a degree we're shadows of ourselves, of the things we used to do. I mean physically. And that doesn't mean that we're no longer like the best of ourselves. It just means there's a little more aches and pains and ailments, and we don't run as fast as we used to. So we just find shortcuts to get to where we got to get to. That's what that's what the old kung fu master learns how to do, right? He's like, you go that way, long way. I'm gonna go this way, short.
That's Miyagi right there.
Exactly. Wax that on and wax it off. And right before recruiting duty, so you remember, my old boss, Alfala, he was like, look, I'll bring you on board, but you got to pass that PT test. And I was like, man, look, I am hurting right now. So the only way in my mind that I could fathom to even do this, I had to get into running again. So here's the logic of not stable at times. I don't want to run 2 miles, and Lord knows I might not be in the place to do it. So I know what I'll do. I'm gonna start training for a 5K. If I could run 3.1, I could do 2 miles. And from a 5K, I got into a 10K. Then it was the New York City Marathon. I got into just long distance running, and the whole time I'm like, that's amazing. You're doing all this stuff. I was like, this is to keep my job. I'm trying to get the 2 miles done. There it is. There he is.
He or she.
He legend. He is. He is having a moment.
He's like, yo, take me outside. Stop.
He's like, hey,
bro,
what?
and let me tell you, I'm gonna call you P because I always called you P. But I remember that day. I was in the commissary over here. I was in the commissary at West Point, and you were running, and I think you either texted me or let me know, yo, I'm over here. I'm at this checkpoint or whatever. It was amazing, man. And you motivated me a lot, man. I never became a marathon runner. I tried to do it once. I was gonna do it once with you, but I never got picked up. But you motivated me a lot, man.
First of all, did you forget in recruiting school we did the relay marathon?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But what was it, yo?
It was a relay. It was the Arkansas relay.
Yo, remember we watched the Kenyans, and the Kenyans blew by. The only thing in front of them was the pace car. But that made me feel bad. I was like, wait, I got to do 6 miles? I'm going to die today.
5 miles earlier.
Crazy, man. Go ahead.
But no. But that's how we got there, right? It was literally one of those things of how do we push through, getting to that. So for me, taking long distance to make sure, that I could go ahead and keep the job that I had, because those were the requirements of recruiting, to stay on. You had to pass that PT test. Everything else you kind of get around a little bit, but that's one of those hard requirements. So by the time we got to recruiting school, so I was in good running shape and all that jazz, but boy, man, people was hurting, and that's where Big Mo comes in. My chest. And then we had our battle buddy in there, freaking Crystal. God, Crystal. Oh man, Crystal, put down the fucking beer.
That fucking beer, Christ. Yo, that
man, was hilarious. Crystal was a beast. First of all, look, jiu-jitsu, strong, like. She was like the muscle. We rolled up somewhere, so it's like, look, go get that real quick.
And she was tall too. She was tall. She was tall. I remember,
but solid.
Oh yeah. Did she stay in recruiting long enough?
She did, and then she went off to do something else. I think I saw an update. She went on to, I think, cybersecurity and is doing some other things and whatnot. So she stood for a little bit, and then she transferred somewhere else. But and that's where people start kind of going into their own. It's like, you're in the Bronx, I'm in Queens, and we had some some good times in recruiting school and memories, and Little Mo and Big Mo and everything in between. And but so the point of all that was in recruiting duty, right? There's a lot of things you could pick up, lots of funny moments, and again, it's perspective, right? There's good, there were some bads, a lot of bads. It's perspective being a big one. I shared this the other day. We're talking about one of the funniest things. It was funny to me now, but at the moment it was not funny at all. You talk about Old Dark 30. I got a client. This little 17-year-old snot nose kid.
There he goes.
He has some, infractions with the law.
Right, right,
Nothing
right.
major.
Right.
You know, I'd never went to go plead a case. You know what I mean? But if I caught somebody in the alley, someone like, hey man, just get a break, man. Try and put them in boots. You go a
Right,
little
right.
above and beyond. And got that taken care of. Put support letters to help him with his thing. Mom's, dad had to go sit with them because he's 17. They got to sign the waiver.
Right.
Had to go in there and eat Mom Dukes' over salty food with lack of seasoning. All the stuff that you have to do, right, to go ahead and get that signature. You know what I mean? Like, okay, Miss Hernandez,
Yeah. Yeah.
make sure you sign.
It was great.
Old Dark 30.
Yeah.
I'm at MEPS. If you've been to MEPS, if you've seen this, you know what time it is. You got the Army
Mm,
section, the Navy section. Everybody got their little corral.
mm, mm.
I look over. Who's sitting at the Navy station?
No. Yeah, I would have wanted to
After
skull drag that dude.
after I done ate your mom's food, did all the stuff, did all the work, Navy recruiters scooped him up, pulled the daggone stuff over to that side. He's there at MEPS, and I had him slotted for the next week. I look at him and I make a straight beeline. I don't know what I call a beeline. I made a zip line right to
Yeah,
this cat. I'm
right, right.
like, what? It's like, what do you say? Like, first of all, it's not what are
Mm,
you doing here? I am bringing you. So what? You just happen to be here at dark 30, 4:30 in the morning?
right.
Oh, Sergeant P, I was gonna tell you, man. I appreciate everything you've done for me,
Oh
but
my
this is gonna
God.
work out. And you know what? My thought is that I'm gonna do my time. I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna look you up, and then I'm gonna come and sign up with you and do a thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, first of all,
Yeah.
if you think I'm gonna sit here and wait for your monkey behind, you've lost your daggone mind. It took everything
Indeed.
inside of me to not choke this kid out one time and be like, check is pissed.
Yeah. Word. You see? Bro, let me tell you. And that'll make you want to kill somebody, man. Those are the things I think we went through that pushed us. Those are the things that pushed us sometimes to that edge. And I'm going to share one with you if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I had a female applicant. I forgot where she was out of. My memory gets screwed up, but I don't know if she was, I can't remember. Anyway, had a female applicant. I had to sit with her entire family. They invited me to a VFW. They said, okay, we're going to meet in this VFW. And I can't remember for the life of me, man, what part of town it was. But when I got there, I felt sort of awkward. So when I got there, I'm like, wait, why are we going into a VFW? So I walk in, I go in with her. When I walk in, the VFW was empty. Bar, the regular scene, old looking bar, and his family members sitting at each, like a couple of tables, they're sitting, but it's empty. I'm like, yo, now I'm nervous. I felt like it was a scene out of like some kind of crazy movie where they're gonna take me outside and beat
Yeah,
me up.
the good fella situation. Come and see real
Yes,
quick.
sir. Yeah.
Go
So I
order
go
what you want to eat.
so the one that stuck out to me was the one wiping the bar, bro. When I say it was like a movie, P, just standing there, rubbing it, cleaning the bar that ain't got nobody there. That's all he was doing. And he happened to be he was young looking, I remember that, but he was former Marine. And he had that disgruntled look on his face. When I say P, I was nervous the whole time I was there. I came alone and I tried to call Davina. Remember Davina? Yo, Davina, I need some help here. Because I got a feeling this is gonna go south. But she was
Support.
busy. Yo, she was busy. We couldn't really do nothing. So now everybody's grilling me. That Marine dude started grilling me like all sideways, and I was calm. I said, I can't get out of hand because I know this could go south. Long story short, I went through that. I walked out of there praying. I was like, Lord, help me, Lord. I don't get beat up out here in the street. Sure enough, went through all this, go to get her in. She gets hot. She pops hot on piss test for cocaine.
Not
All of
not.
that. Yeah. All of this. And I'm like, wait, and I had to deal with her a lot. When I say prior to that little sit down face to face with her whole family.
You said cocaine. You
Bro.
said that booger. That's that booger sugar.
Yeah, that booger sugar. Hell yeah. She popped up hot for cocaine, bro, like a couple of days before freaking yeah. I'm telling you, bro. It was nuts, man. And I think a lot of time for us, that's what I guess made us who we are, man. We understand people. We understand their ways. We don't want to beat people up over nothing
Mm-hmm.
like that. And, I don't know if you deployed
Mm-hmm.
before recruiting or
After
afterwards,
after. Mm-hmm.
but it helped us, man. You
Yep.
know what I mean? And it just brought us where we were today.
No, and I think that there's something to be said for that, right? Because ultimately, it's a resilience, right? That it sounds cliche to say it sometimes.
Hmm. Yeah.
It sounds cliche to say it sometimes, but it's a resilience, right? From having to work in that environment, to be in that environment, to deal with people. You're off script. Recruiting school was, we had to sit there and pitch and talk and all the things to actually do the job, but recruiting school prepared you to do this much. Literally, it was when you got to your station, that E8, that top was just like, look, that's cool what you heard, throw it out. This is
Yeah,
how we gonna do it.
remember, Pete, they used to tell you, here's your keys, here's your manuals, go do great things. Not necessarily, they told us that in recruiting school, that's exactly what you're going to hear. Here's your
Yep.
keys, here's your phone, here's your manuals, go do your thing.
Yep.
That's what it was.
And literally you sitting out there, and it was good times, just kind of finding your groove.
Hmm.
I don't think a record has been set to the one or the likeness of how I said it. So you remember this? So my first year in there, I got rookie of the year.
Oh, yes, yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
but then the second year, I got it again. I got it twice, if you remember. And it was like, wait a second, how do you get rookie of the year twice? I said, I guess the pool is short and small.
But you had it. You had this thing, bro, and I'll say it. You had this thing about you. Even in recruiting school, you just had it. You had this thing where you were ready to go out and do whatever it took to make it happen. You
But
know
for
what
the
I mean?
record, though, I was always a little rebellious. So Mo remembers that. So we had an NGB, a little end of year thing where freaking in Sarasota we had to get together and do those little
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm rolling up in there. I got my hair long and curls. They're like, yo, you kind of out of regulation. And my whole thing would be like, my hair is as long as y'all. I got the curls going on. So look, I just switched this one for this one. But there was always some kind of stuff was like, you just can't blend in like everybody else who got their high and tight and stuff. I'm walking up in there, daggone Jerry curls. Like, look, it is in length. It
With
is.
the temple taper, with the tape.
It's tapered up. Look, okay.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. It worked. They didn't like it. That's on them.
And I
That's
was
on
like,
them.
look, I'm in regs. We'll talk about.
That's right.
Smith over there, he has the same length as me. Mine's just curls. That's all it is. I can't do
Right.
it like
Right.
that, but it goes like this. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
But so that's a good point there, which is not only did we have to learn to do things just in the real world and interact with people, and we brought our natural talents and abilities to relate to people and be authentic. But to the point of the topic, also here, loyalty due to respect. So I want to ask you. So I want to go real quick to your YouTube channel because I want them to make sure people see that.
Okay.
So if they want to find you and see some of the work you're doing, you've been doing stuff here for a little bit. I'm going to stretch it here so folks can take a look. But this is where you can find Anthony and the work he's doing at LeaderCast 20. And it looks all fancy up here, but the story I want to tell is when you go down to the beginning days, where literally it was a man on a mission in a car. Before the microphone, before the acronyms. Matter of fact, you see the shirt. I want to go back where he had no shirt. It was an army shirt on the
Wow.
daggone seat. You see it right there, right there. Literally, him just having a message, him talking about something. There was no leader. It was just an army shirt and him having a conversation and just, hey, I'm popping in here and doing a thing. And if you go check out his videos and you scroll back to some of the older ones, the funny thing is, you'll literally hear him say it every single time he popped up in there. He come in there and have the phone up. Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's going on, good people? I'm driving. He would do his thing.
Yes, sir.
But tell me, brother, for you, and I know what it is, but for those watching, there's more. This is more than values that we have here, right? The Army, value system. You have leadership, and you have, the acronym in there. But you specifically, for your podcast and for your platforms, have chosen leader, right? We see it on your hat. We see it, on the background, your shirt. Every so often you see them where they put up that little mug with it, randomly, that placement, that product
Right.
placement. Got the little, but you have leader, loyalty, duty, respect. Tell me why you picked those three letters and what exactly is it that brings to you on your platform.
Wow. I mean, loyalty, duty, respect, especially like you already mentioned, that comes from the first three letters of our Army values of nobody knows. Um, and I think, and I put it in the creed, Dave. I put it in the creed. It's our loyalty to those whom we serve, right? Our duty to never leave them, and our respect for the struggles they endure. And those are the things that I sat down, Dave, and that's why I chose those three letters out of, and plus they look good together with leader, but that's why I chose those, because I think that's where we need to go with this. You know what I mean? It's about being loyal to one another, because we can lose that in this world, Dave. We can lose that in the world we're in, you know. And a duty, something we feel like is our responsibility, you know what I mean, to those people, and to never leave their side. And we're gonna get into this as to why leader came about, and our respect for the struggle they endure, because a lot of times it becomes normalized. You'll be all right. You'll be okay. Nah, it's
Hmm.
not okay at times for some people. There could be somebody right now watching this, Dave, who is on that fence. And it's about that respect. And I'm here for you. I'm here to listen. And that's why I chose those three letters as far as leaders concerned.
Talk to me about that subtitle under it that you have right under leader. I will
Right.
never leave you.
Yes, yes.
And again, because I want to segue into that because especially with social media, one of the things that I've always said, like, we always have like a parting thought as we kind of end these broadcasts. And I always mention and say, you know what, look after your strong friends. You know what I mean? And
Ooh,
I'm not
yes, sir.
trying to sit here and say that there's a weaker one or stronger. What I'm saying is that person that always checks on everybody. I'm talking
Mm,
about that. Mo can relate to this in the military, especially. What I encountered is, we were trailblazers, right? I got out as a seven. I moved up very quickly.
mhm.
Deployments, service. Had a very good run, and then I made a decision to go into other endeavors in life.
Of
And
course.
no matter where you go, that the resiliency of who you are carries over to that, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And all that to say that you climb the ranks, right? You move up, and I always hold truth to the army leadership model of the inverted triangle. The higher you go, really, the lower you are. It's your job to serve those. So my job as a leader is not to lead, but it's actually to serve those. So it's not you go up in rank. I've always seen that you're actually going down because that's how it works. The staff are those E1s, those E2, those E3s, and the higher the letter goes, the lower you go. And
Hmm.
as far as the totem pole, right? So I say that to say that as a senior leader, one of the things I've always seen, observed, felt is no one checks on you, right? You're the platoon sergeant.
No,
Think about it,
indeed.
right? It's
Yes,
you and
sir.
the commander, and you got this whole, you got that platoon, right? You got that battalion, and we're in that company, and as that senior enlisted, it's your job as the backbone of your service, in the army, backbone of the army, to look after your troops. You know what I mean? And you know who they are. You know who are those fours. You know who those squad leaders are. You know who the fives are that you got to make sure that
Right.
you check on.
That's
But who
right.
checks on that seven? Who checks on that eight? Who checks on that nine? And when you start to look at, the mental health aspect of a lot of these senior officers and senior enlisted that are becoming
Hmm.
statistics, there's
Yes, sir.
something there because it's inherent. Like, hey, look, I'm running, Alpha Company, Mo's running Bravo Company, and at the end of the day, he's doing great things there. I'm doing great things over here. But are we checking on each other? Or are we just checking on our
Right.
people all the time? So when I say
Right.
checking
Right.
on your strong friends, it's literally the person that never reaches out. That everything looks
Right.
fine, right? Because and this is the pivot here, but every single time that you have either experienced personal loss or somebody you knew or someone you've seen on TV, you hear the same thing every single
Mm,
time.
mm,
Mo, I did not see that coming. Robin Williams, what? So and so, what?
hmm.
Like
Hmm.
literally, it's always one of those. I just saw him or her. I just spoke to them, and I would have never known. I want to talk
Right.
about the genesis of leader because it was born out of a mutual relationship, a mutual acquaintance, a mutual brother in arms, a fellow recruiter.
Right.
That I just want to preface it with saying that he had the brightest smile I've ever seen to the point where it annoyed me. Like in the beginning, I didn't like him because I was like, why are you so happy?
Right, right, right,
Literally,
right,
like I'm because
right.
I'm not the one in the morning just like what up. I'm not that motivator. Like motivate me, motivator,
He was.
motivate. That was not that dude. That was a dude that had to come around and kind of warm up to
Right.
it.
After the
Um,
coffee, bro. After the coffee.
yeah, that's how I roll. I'm not a motivator. I need to get motivated to motivate somebody. But I go up in there and call that cadence from the gut.
That's right. That's right.
but
That's right.
but in this case, when you see someone who genuinely has this light inside of them that just shines, it's different. It's not just you have a great smile; it's a positive outlook. And even if with self awareness, right? If I see Mo and he sees me, and I see he's a little bit out of it, and I'm a little bit out of it, you give him a dap, and it's just like, all right, man, I'll talk to you later. And then,
Right.
brothers like Clement would be the ones that kind of would come over and just kind of be like, hey, what's going on, man? What's good with you? And you're like, man, turn that shit down. It is old
Right.
dark
Right.
30 in the morning. It is MEPS at
Right.
4:30. Why are you so happy right now?
Right.
No.
Right. Right.
I've been up
Yeah.
since 2. Talk to me about it, brother.
Um. Yeah. Jonathan. As you know, Jonathan was a good friend, best friend, I could say. And as you know, and a lot of people know, and if I get emotional, forgive me, man, because I miss that dude. Um. He was a good friend, best friend, and he took his own life. You already know that. He took his own life, and it caught everybody off guard. It caught everybody off guard, and he was that light. He was that smile. He was that energy that you needed at times, but also could be annoying at times. Um, that man. I mean, personally, he's been to my house. He was my family Thanksgiving, and he helped me move. So that was Jonathan to me. Jonathan, then, life took us in different directions. I moved recruiting, I moved to Queens, I moved from Queens to upstate New York. So it's sort of life started pulling us apart, right? Um, after I guess, and I really, really lost touch with Jonathan. I lost touch, and it wasn't nothing bad. It was just life took us in two different directions. So, um, a few years back, again, hopefully, if I'm not missing anything, so please reel me in if I do. Um, got a call that day, kill me, hit me like a ton of bricks. There's only two things, Dave, that really impacted me in my life. A couple of things, but the death of my father and the death of Jonathan that hit me in a great way. Um, got that call, didn't know what to do with myself, fell apart. Um, just went from there. No one expected Jonathan passing away. So a couple of years went by, and I don't know why though, Dave. Like one day, it just hit me. I started thinking about Jonathan a lot. I started really. It got like I felt like I left Jonathan. I felt like I left him behind, and that's where it all came about. That's where it all. I couldn't. I was like, man, what can I do to do better? What can I do that not just me, but create a community of people that are willing to reach out to others on a one-on-one if needed. It may not be in a group setting. You know what I mean? That one-on-one, like you said, look at that guy in the eye and say, yo, are you okay? And be willing to be that ear. So I felt like I left them. So to answer your question from before, the I will never leave you at the bottom of leader came from that. It also came from a scripture, a well-known scripture. I will never leave you nor forsake you. So both those things stuck in my head, Dave. Um, so I'm gonna backpedal a little bit. So that day I was really thinking about Jonathan. It was really, beating me up. I had to go down to the basement, get some paper towels off the shelf. And I see a disc, like remember the old CD books? So I had CD books in there, right? I had a book of CDs and they were loose in there. So I opened it up. I said, let me check out what I got in here. So I opened it up, and the one CD that fell out was a CD that my father gave me that said Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich. That's this CD right here. I don't know if you can see it, Dave, but it's right here. And Think and Grow Rich doesn't mean monetarily, just means open your mind. So that disc was the only disc that fell out that whole book of 100 discs that were in there loose. When I saw that, it just hit me, Dave. I was like, "As this mean dad telling me something? What if Jonathan's on my mind?" And from that point, I called a good friend of mine, Justo Perez. He does graphic design and all this other stuff. And I just texted him, yo, June, this is what I'm thinking. You know, can you create something like with my thoughts, loyalty, duty, respect, one
Hmm.
person reaching for another, and I will never leave you. And that's where the round logo came about.
Hmm.
And that's where, LDR came about, and I will never leave you is a part of it. And if you see in the middle of the logo, it's one soldier reaching for another. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a soldier. It can simply be one person reaching for another. And that's where it all came from. That's where I thought, that's where the thoughts came about. And if it wasn't, I can't say if it wasn't for Jonathan, but Jonathan was the one that really, really sparked it, because I've always had a feeling, Dave, that we should. I've always been like that. I guess since I was young, we should always reach out for one another, take care of one another. I've always been like that since I was a kid. I talk a lot at times,
No,
so that's why I do what I do. I saw you, bro. I was hoping you didn't fall asleep. I was like, yo, Dave them fell out. He's like this. No, it
no.
was. And that's the reason why I chose. And if you look in the beginning of the YouTube, as you put
Hmm.
up, I grabbed my phone one day, like you said, and all I said to myself was, I'm going to do this every so often, and I'm hoping it's there in the very beginning. And if not, I will find it and send it to you. Yeah, I
Yes.
did a video one day and it's not there. I did a video one day just saying I'm just going to do this on a daily basis and share a message so people could understand, maybe lift somebody up or motivate someone. So that's what LDR is about. That's what
I,
that's what
I,
life's
I
about.
remember. I remember that, and it's. I was trying to pull up something real quick, but what I'll say is that these are the uncomfortable conversations that some would spiral into. I think the power of social media, it's about perspective.
Yes, sir.
You can make a parallel to anything in excess, right? You talked about a scripture. The reality is, there's a time to cry, there's a time to laugh, there's a time to sow, there's a time to reap, there's a time for
Yes, sir.
everything. And that
Yes, sir.
goes to the balance aspect. And again, that's subjective. But really, the fact is that, you could look at a Second Amendment right. And reality is, you're either going to defend yourself or you're going to enact crime or something. So at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, tools are tools. And it's the tools in the hand of either a master craftsman or a criminal that makes a difference of what the tool actually accomplishes. So
Right,
when it
right,
comes
right,
to
right.
social media, it's the same thing. You can destroy people. You can wage war on countries through information warfare and whatnot.
True, true.
But in this case, social media can also connect us, and we could use it for the power of good to be able to share a message.
I
And
agree, Dave.
what I respect about what you've done is, I remember the fact that you kind of said, "Hey, look, I'm just going to do this." And this is not a you've done this last week because podcast is what's hot. This is 3 years ago. What I mean, over 3 years ago, that you kind of just sat down and just on Facebook just would pop up, and you're just driving from point A to point B. It's cold.
Yes,
You
sir.
got your beanie on, and you're just sharing a message. It's dark in the vehicle, and I just want to be able to just honor that, because there's something about just old school tactics. Like, some of these videos you see here are literally old dark 30, going from point A to point B, driving to
Yes, sir.
work. You see the
Yep.
beanie, you see it's cold, and it's literally just sharing a message of saying something. And it doesn't matter that the view was one or the view was two. And the reason I say that is because, one, I want to share the platform that you have with those that are out there. But I've always said this on every single session that I've done. We do different shows. We do a Friday Night Live. We're rolling out Sound Off, and we have other things that we're working on. But if my call, my mission, my belief is that we can help that one person out there, it sounds
Yes, sir.
nice when you say that.
Oh
But for
yeah.
many
Yep.
individuals, it doesn't sound nice when you only had one viewer to the video you put up.
Mm.
Because it's nice to say, hey, Mo, you know what? I believe this. I think we could touch somebody. And if only one person, gets helped, I'm
Right.
accomplished. All right.
Right.
Two
Right.
years later, all you got is two viewers. You okay?
Right. 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 Right.
Oh
Understood. Yeah.
man, I'm not popping. I'm not blowing up. I'm not going. I'm like, first of all, what were you here for? Because again,
Mm-hmm.
that consistency of being able to do this and just share a message when you felt it comes from a place where leader means something. So when someone asks a question like pivot, right? You want to go into a business, you want to start a podcast. Well, what? Why? Because you want to be famous. There are people who want to do that, and that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. I get that. But if your
Mm-hmm.
why isn't strong enough to carry you through those cold mornings, man, look, there's better things you could have been doing going from point A to point B. So I just want to honor that for a second, because it speaks, one, to resiliency. It speaks to the fact that you push through, just time. right? And here we are now. So enter social media. I've seen the videos. You're doing your thing. I'm supporting on the side. And you said something the other day that I've been privy to, right? So here we are now. We're putting content. We're sharing something, right? And we can say, hey, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Got it.
Mhm.
Knowing good and daggone well that most of us would watch stuff and literally not like, not comment, not share, but we saw everything. And you sit there like one of your friends you told me that was like, look, man, I
Right,
might not comment, I might not like, but I see what you're doing. I see it. I follow you.
right,
And that's just
right.
habits. Some people just scroll through social media and they don't do all that because it's just, I'm just consuming it. What does it matter? Right?
Right,
Understanding
right.
on this side of the conversation, like, wait a second, that click, that makes a difference. And those things do help to make sure the message gets sent out and in the algorithms and all that stuff.
Right, right.
But the point is that regardless of that, there are people who may not comment, may not subscribe, may not like, but that message is hitting in a place, in a way
Yes, sir.
that we don't even know. You know, because I know
Yep.
for a fact that over the years you've had people that reached out and have said, "Hey, that thing you said yesterday, or that one message, it did something." Right? I could tell you, for example, one of the funniest things that you've done to me that stood out was when you were backing up and you hit that speed bump. And you're like, "Oh my goodness, I think I ran over somebody." And you know, when you did it, it was hilarious because at the moment I'm like, "Oh my God, did he really just hit somebody live?" And then it's just at the end you're like, "I'm just kidding, man. It was a prank. I didn't really run over somebody because I know somebody's gonna lose their mind." But the whole time I'm thinking like, "Did he really just post this thing?"
They did. I got a couple comments. What you doing? Get off the phone. Stop this. Stop that. I'm just kidding. I just slammed on the brakes and hit the door. What I did was I slammed and hit the door at the same time. I was like, oh shit. So I just
Yep.
did it, loosen up and get, I felt that mood that day. So I said,
Yeah.
that's what I shared. So
But that laugh, right? That moment that someone that might have done something for them,
yes, sir.
understand what those things do, because it's one
Yes.
of those things where what people don't realize is there's different things you could have said. So I remember the video when you mentioned, "Hey, I'm just out here going to spread this message," but that even that little moment there, of just kind of being a little tongue cheek and just not taking yourself too serious and just having a joke, I remember it all this time later, which
Wow.
in and of
Thank you, man.
itself says
Thank you.
it did something. Why would I
Right.
remember it today? So obviously
Right.
that did something when I saw it that just resonated and it just kind of got bookmarked, right? Because you know what I'm saying, you hit it.
Of course. Of course. And I struggled a lot with that for a while, David. Be honest with you, it gets frustrating. I don't understand algorithms. I don't understand all that stuff. So when you see, you're sort of struggling with why is nobody seeing this? And all you want to do is you want to scream from the mountaintops because that's all we have right now is social media. That's your form of screaming from the mountaintops. It's like almost I felt like nobody was hearing me because I wasn't seeing the views and the clicks and the whatevers and I felt like you ever been in a nightmare and you're yelling and you can't hear yourself? That's how I felt. And I was starting to get frustrated, Dave. I was starting to get like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. So I talked to my boy who started, and June, I call him and he's like, he said, it's not, I never forget, he said, it's not about the numbers. And we said this to each other. It's not about how many, it's about, that one that you can make a difference in. So keep pushing because one day it'll make a difference. And I shared this with you the other day. I threw a video out there I didn't know what to talk about. I just started talking. And somebody inboxed me on Instagram and said, you don't understand how much that message you said got me out of this funk. And those are the times that re-spark me, Dave, because I struggle with it. I struggle with not wanting to hit record. I struggle with not wanting to record in the car if I have my GoPro up and I want to hit click, but I'm not in the mood at that moment. So I struggle with all those things. But then I have to remember, what if? Even if it says 0 views, what if it helps someone? And that's all that's all I'm chasing. And I don't mean it. I'm not gonna take it long. I thought about that this morning. I said, if I don't care to make money with this, because I don't. I just if I didn't have to do if I didn't get what do they say? If you didn't get paid to do something, will you still do it?
Right.
I could do this all day. I talked a lot. I got in trouble as a kid for talking too much. And you know what? I don't need a dime to do this because it's about touching somebody's life and pulling somebody off that proverbial, that fence. You know what I mean? And if you and I, not just me, but you and everybody that follows you and all the people that you touch, that's all. I guess that's all we want to do. You know?
And I think that's one of the things that has been interesting. We talked about on our live yesterday, Clubhouse, and it's a new app. It's taking people by storm, and it's what is this new little fad? Is it TikTok all over again? Are we sitting there with music and dancing? But the reality is, it's a live audio only kind of podcast environment where we can talk. And
Mm-hmm.
literally, Mo, myself, and Z got together, and we were able to kind of literally link up and talk in there. And we went on for a minute, and we just had a moment. It was great because there was no video, there was no nothing, it was just our voice. And Clubhouse, literally for someone like you and myself in podcasting, it's great because all we've been known to do all our lives is to flap them gums like, don't
Yeah.
te calles.
Be quiet already. You gonna keep talking? That's what I used to get in trouble as a kid. I
My
got
aunt used to tell
your son is a
me,
good son. Go ahead, go ahead.
no, my aunt used to tell me, "Usted habla cuando la gallina mea." You talk when the hen pisses. I'm like, I never seen no hen piss. Exactly.
Right. Bro, let me tell you. I used to always remember parents teacher school day, that night, whatever they used to call it. Your son is a good son. He's a good
But
kid. But bingo, Dave. But and I knew it. I was like, oh,
here
I'm
we
sweating.
go.
I was stomach pains. I'm gonna get in trouble. When he talks too much, he doesn't sit still. And believe me, I have my days where I don't want to say a word to nobody because I might be in that little bit of a funk that day. But I like to talk to people and just make sure everybody's, your day is going okay. You know what I'm saying?
But and again, and for those seeing this here, you see the ticker below. Comment your branch of service, comment the years that you serve, and the reason that keeps rolling is because we want to honor you. We want to be able to make a shout out to you. We want to be able to comment with you, speak with you in the comment section. I don't care
Right.
what your job was. I don't care what your rank was. What I care is you served and the days, the years, and times you did it. But I think it's definitely something that it stands out to me as something that we need to obviously check, that we need to go ahead and highlight, because I think it's just bringing back honor to service and doing that. But to the point of what we do, it comes from a genuine place. And what I
Yes.
mean by
Yes.
genuine is that there are those individuals that have the ability to literally just act like I've known individuals who are damn near bipolar. They could literally just have slaughter two people and come on here. Hey, 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 everybody, how y'all doing? I'm like, what, dude? You
What's
just
up?
you just shot somebody, and you're over here coming on set like it's just go time.
Right, right, right.
When you have individuals that are operating from a different place, I like to call it, being like an empath, right? If you look it up, or people that operate from a place of empathy, you can read the energy. You can have that affects you at a core level where other people don't see that.
Yeah.
And if you're not in that space or you're not in that, mood to do something, it's not that, oh, I'm not feeling it. Like, no, your spirit has to be aligned to be able to do that. Because
Wow.
if not, it doesn't come across, it's not genuine. So it's
Yeah.
hard for creatives who are empaths to a degree, who have empathetic tendencies, to just be able to turn it on all the time. Because there are going to be days where you're just not in a good space. And to Mo's point, the reality is, like, we joked about it, like, hey, we're gonna get together at Old Dark 30. I'm gonna show up with some rollers, I'm gonna have rollers in the beard, he's gonna have a hairnet on and everything. And it's one of those things of like, the reality is, you literally, are having all this self-awareness thing, right? I don't look the way I used to look. I don't want to come across a certain way. I don't want to have pictures that don't have me in the right light. Let me make sure that when I take the picture, I don't have the double cheek. What I mean? Like, all the things that we do that we all struggle with, it's because you're putting yourself out there, right? You're waiting for the criticism. You're waiting for the whole, like, you should shut up. Nobody wants to hear you. And the
Right.
reality is that that's the place we operate from. But there's a power when you understand your why that goes beyond that, where it's like, I get it, there's all the negativity things, but that one person.
That's right. And I have to say, and I was honest with you earlier. I'm nervous. I deal with anxiety. I do all kind of crap. I was pacing back and forth, and I just had to take the chance, man. I had to take the chance and go and say, come over here, do this because of that one person. Because number one, and I'm gonna say it again, because of you. You that one person for me. Thank God, number one, and you staying on me for like a week, 2 weeks. Yo, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Not serious, Dave. And you stayed on me, and that was nervousness. I'm not gonna lie, Dave. I kept thinking self-awareness too much. Yo, am I gonna look stupid? Am I gonna look crazy? Am I not? Am I not? You heard, and you said it. It's about the message, Mo. It's about the message and not anything else.
And I
And it
texted you,
helped.
and I was like, I know you're ignoring me. Stop it.
Yeah, yeah. Yo, let me talk. Be dead serious. All right, bro. Dead serious, man. Dead serious.
No, you
And
got hit him. Hit him with the New
I
York
almost,
dead ass son.
word up, saying word up. No, no, listen. And I almost thought my way out of it. I swear, bro. I've done this many a times in my life because anxiety kicks in so bad that I start thinking about, and I heard this the other day, and I'm gonna share it. It's not about it's not about the outcome. It's about the moment, right? Stay in the moment and you won't ruin the outcome. And I've been trying to say that in my head all morning, Dave. When I say all morning, there's no BS. That's how anxious I was. I told you I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning because I was anxious. I'm not gonna lie. And I deal with that. You and I have been through this before. I remember on recruiting duty when we used to go to Saratoga, go for a run, I'd have to stop in the middle of the run because I was having anxiety attacks. And you were there. Let's be real. You were there. And it's been a long journey. It still happens to this day. Before you hit record, my hands were shaking. Keeping it 100. Not serious, bro. Serious.
Yeah.
But I had to say to myself, this is for somebody. It ain't about me, because I'll think my way out of everything.
Yep.
It's not about me. It's about somebody out there. And I might have another day where I'm like, yo, I don't want to do this. I can't. And I don't want to put off the wrong energy as well sometimes, Dave.
Correct.
It's like, I don't want to hit record because I might not be in that mood. My eyes might look crazy. And I don't want to put that off on somebody. Like you said, we're very empathetic.
Yep.
I'm an empath myself. And sometimes it's hard to click that record because I might not be in that right space. You know what I mean?
No, and I think that there's a power to that. I think, it's like what you said, right? To me, it's not about the destination; it's about the journey, right? Sure. Because think about it, right? Look at our time together, what we served. It's been 15 years easily since that time when you start looking at it, and the reality is that at the time we weren't thinking these were the good old times. It was just the times. Like, we never sit down and said these are the good old times. Right? 3 years ago, when you turned that camera on and you recorded yourself, those were the good old times. That's the beginning. Like, no, we don't focus on the moment because we keep thinking about what's coming ahead, what's going to happen later, and we lose what is happening in the journey. So I think, there's a power in that. I think there's the resilience in that. I think the understanding your why. But I think really the message of all of this is, having that loyalty to each other. Right, we have that duty to respect them enough to be able to reach out and be there. We have the social media and being real, because the fact of the matter is, trust me, I deal with the same exact thing. But at some point, it's like, you know what? It doesn't matter anymore. I'm not even thinking about it. You know what I mean? It's like literally, hey, let's go ahead and look at the camera. Like, I don't care. What's that? The audio was a little bit off. Like, you know what I mean? The lighting ain't over there. You know what I mean? Right. The beard was a little bit too this way. I'm in the breeze. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you, I get caught up like that. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, because I know we got to move forward. But I get caught up like that. I really do. I get caught up in, I don't want to hit record. What am I about? Is it bad today? Screw it. Because somebody's not looking at you. Somebody's listening.
Right.
Somebody's just wanting to hear you. They want to hear something. That's why they hit play on YouTube or, on your streams. They go to, your sites and they want to hear something, and that's who we're here for.
It's that paralysis by analysis that we have to move past. It's crippling. So my point, as we wrap up, I want you to start thinking mode of a point to share for those that are out there. Obviously, we have to come back because there's so much to unpack. But I think it's just good for us, one, to catch up, have this conversation, talk a little bit about your platform, what you're doing, and your why, because there's a message and a power there. And if one more person can hear what you're saying, I think that's really the power of what this is. But there's a piece that you said, which I think is for many out there relatable, which is having crippling anxiety, which is doubting yourself, which is not understanding that regardless of what that may look like, there's a power in that vulnerability, right? Yes, and that vulnerability is saying that though people may see a nice graphic and all the cool stuff you see with this, there's still two veterans that have their issues, that have had, skeletons in their closet of pain and hurt and trauma packed away. You talked about your father. I was with you at your father's funeral. We came out, you know what I mean? It's literally one of those things where those are the moments where you sit there and you're like, man, we've had so many moments, and then life just takes us in different directions. But regardless of that, having the ability to just literally understand that we have a mission that still is moving forward and reaching out and saying, look, I'm not going to stop texting you until you show up. So guess what? Right. And the fact is, as a message for me, is don't give up on someone. And this wasn't scripted. This is literally to the point of leader. Right? Not giving up. And sometimes it might mean sending that text and following up like, hey, I know you see this. Don't ignore it. You know what I mean? Right. Send a gift, send a meme. Like, look, show up that accountability, because what's happening in the world right now with social distancing, with people being separated, it's exacerbating many of our mental health conditions. And the reality is that we're hiding even easier than before because it's like, well, I'd love to come see you, but COVID. First of all, if it wasn't here, you wasn't gonna come out anyway. Now you have an excuse to
Let's be
further
real.
implode and retreat and become a hermit. So, use technology, having things like this, communicating, jumping onto something like Clubhouse or jumping onto a Zoom session, leveraging the fact that we can use technology to be able to come together and just do something. So I think that just speaks volumes to be able to just reach back and not leave someone behind, right? You don't have to, let it go there. Checking on your strong friends, that person that's always looking like they got it together, ask them, hey, how are you doing? Because I'm going to tell you, right? I've asked individuals that look strong that everything was fine, and literally you just stay and look at them, and you ask them like,
Mm-hmm.
"That's nice, but how are you?" was the question, and
Mm-hmm.
literally you see that it just breaks everything. Like
Mm.
literally that facade comes down, and literally I've
Yes,
seen
babe.
tear works where you're like, no one's actually stood there and asked because everybody asks a
Yeah.
question, and by the time you say I'm good, they've already walked away. Shake
Yes, sir.
someone's hands, look them in the eyes, stay there for a second, wait for the text back. I think goes a long, long way. So for my final closing thoughts, what I would say in this session here, it's leaving someone behind doesn't mean hey I have to own this. I guess because of me that this happened. No, no, no. It
Mm.
means that if you have the ability to reach out and be there, do that thing. And even if
Yes,
it's
sir.
not directly, maybe this video does that for someone.
Yeah,
Use
that's right, Dave.
technology at
That's right.
scale to reach out to someone to do something like this. So, however it may be, own your truth. Send your message, record, do something because
Mm-hmm.
that's really what it's about. It doesn't matter about distance. There's no more excuses. Gone are the days
That's
of pamphlets and flyers on windshields, man. We literally have the power to do that right here.
right. That's right, Dave. That's
Mo, and
right.
wrapping up, brother. For someone out there who may be struggling right now, what would be some of your What will be your thought and closing message for someone?
For somebody who's struggling, you're not alone. You're not alone. Um, there's somebody out there that knows how you feel. There's somebody out there that knows. Forgive me. There's somebody out there that knows how you feel. There's somebody out there that's going through what you've gone through, um, and it has. They might not be professionals. They might not be the kind of person you want to hear, but they understand. They understand your struggle. They respect that struggle, and they are. There's always people out there that are willing to reach out, and we have to take the time to not only wait for somebody to reach out to us, but also reach out to somebody else. Like Dave said, just reach out, man. That's We have so many ways of doing this, and Dave hit the nail on the head. There's so many different ways: texting, Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media platform. There's some way to tell somebody, hey, listen, man, I love you. You're not alone, man. I'm here for you. And if, like Dave said, if you're like me, who would think my way out of something, you keep checking. You keep checking on that strong person. And I say, never quit. Reach out to one another. Love on one another, because that's what we need right now. We need that. We need to reach out for one another, and don't leave the check on your strong friends. Let me tell you something, Dave. You took the words right out of my mouth. Check on that strong person, that person that's always smiling, that person that's always the energy in the room, the motivator. That guy, that female, sorry, check on that person. Check on your battle buddies, and let's never leave one another behind. Let's not do that. We can't. That was from our ethos. I would never leave a fallen comrade, and we
Mo,
can't
and,
do that to each
and the last thing I want you to say before we close it out right here is if you could go back
other. Mhm.
and you could say something to Clement,
Don't do that, bro.
what would you say if you could have that call, that one message? Because there's someone out there who doesn't have someone to make that call. And I'm putting you on the spot because you never got a chance to make that call. And that's pushed you to do what you're doing. But there's someone right now out there who doesn't have a Mo, who doesn't have a friend, is a Vietnam veteran who's lost their buddies, and they're sitting out there just contemplating. What does Anthony say? If you could rewind back the hands of time.
I'm sorry, man.
No, I'm with you, man.
I never asked myself that question, man. I never wanted to think of that, and I thank you. I wouldn't even know what to say, man. I'd probably just hug him and tell him I'm here. I just hug him. I'm here. I love you, man. We love you. There's people who love you. I know everybody says that, and everybody wants to hear that, but I always go through that, man. I still go through that to this day. And I wish I would have grabbed him. I wish I would have reached out for him. So, if
So
you're out there and you're struggling, you're not alone, man. And people love you. We love you. Don't let the mind do it to you. We love you. We have to. If no one knows that you're struggling, sometimes you got to scream for help. You got to scream. If no one knows you're struggling, we're all strong, and we all are able to just hide it and cover it up. And you play on social media. Listen, I go through it too. I have my days of depression to this day, and we can all put on a facade. Sometimes we just got to scream for help. When you feel like nobody's listening. My wife asked me the other day. She said, "Babe, you okay?" And I said, "No," for the very first time, Dave. For the very first time. Nah, I'm feeling depressed, and it took a weight off my shoulders because I got a chance to let it out. So know there's help out there. Know there's people that understand you. And as far as Jonathan's concerned, I never let that off my chest, Dave. That was the first time I've ever left that off my chest. And thank you.
no,
And there's another
thank you for
person to
sharing that.
me. There's another
Yes.
person, my dad. I I didn't take the time to talk to him when he gave me his last phone call. I didn't. I know this isn't a therapy session. We're
No,
keeping it
no.
real. But I never took the time to talk to him the last phone call he gave me when he told me, "I just want to thank you for being there for me." I rushed him off the phone, Dave. I rushed him off the phone. And that was the last time I heard my father's voice. And that killed me. Take the time, man. Talk to one another. Look, let me show you. Right here, I keep a picture right next to me, man. Right on my desk. And I look at that picture all the time. Jonathan, it's still hard for me to look at pictures of Jonathan. And for my dad as well. But I need those reminders. And I don't mean to go in left field, Dave. And
No, it's why I asked you because one, it's again coming from that place of being an empath. But I think the fact is there is someone out there who doesn't have that, and me asking you and honoring that you one opened up and shared that and said that it's that message that someone sadly isn't getting. And if nothing else, this right now becomes that call to someone that you are loved, that you are cared for, that there are people who are out there trying. We're up here at
Dave,
Old Dark 30 for a reason.
I'm sorry. I'm going to jump
No.
in because this hit me hard. We have to stop forgetting about each other. We have to stop letting life, this world, our problems, we have to stop causing that to forget about each other. Because it's an I world. It's an I type survival, right? No, there's a we here. There's a we here. And life has caused us to sort of turn inward just to protect ourselves. But we have to stop forgetting about each other and love one another. That just hit me just now. So thank you, Dave. Thank you.
No, thank you, brother. Like I said, this ain't the first. This is the first, but not the last of conversations that we have. I appreciate you, brother. I love you. We haven't spoken in a while, but the fact of the matter is, there's somebody out there that needed to hear this. And if you're watching this and you know someone who needs to hear this, maybe you don't have the words to say this to them, share this with them. Send this message because this is what we miss. It's not the service, it's the brotherhood, the sisterhood. It's the community that we miss. So we set out to create it in our little bubbles, but we don't have to do it in silos.
That's right.
Brother, I
That's right.
appreciate you. I know you got to get going.
I
We'll
love
get
you.
back and do it again. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being open. We're definitely going to do this again. But aside of that, man,
Please.
I
Please.
appreciate you. For those that we have served, for those that have passed, for those that we honor, this is for you.
Thank you. You pushed me into a place, Dave, that I didn't want to come to. And you helped me, man. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. You're my brother. There was a reason why God had us cross paths. Whether it took us 15 years to get back in touch, I just want to say thanks, man. That's all I want to tell you. I love you. You know this. I love you. You're one of my strong friends, so I have to check on you too.
Yes, sir.
You're one of
Yes,
the
sir.
strong. Oh, I love you. I can hear the dog in the background. I love you dearly, my brother, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. God knew what he was doing when he
Yes.
told you to send that text. Because I would have never done this if it wasn't for you.
No,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you, man. You know how it is, brother. You know, I mean, this is bigger than us, and I just appreciate you being able to kind of get that off your chest. Caught you off guard
Yeah.
there, but you know, I mean, I think it's something that needed to happen not only for yourself to be able to release that and say those words, but there's someone that needs to hear those words. More
Yeah.
importantly,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, man, we'll wrap again and get together, brother.
Please.
Go take your son to taekwondo class before he kicks you, man.
Yeah, kick my ass with both hands.
We'll get back together.
I love you.
I love you, my brother. Be good.
Be good, man. God bless.